It was a calm Sunday morning, the kind that usually started with coffee and quiet music in Amanda's apartment. She had always liked her slow mornings. No phone calls, no emails, just peace. But that peace didn't last long that day. Amanda's phone buzzed once, then again, then again. She ignored it at first. It kept buzzing. She sighed, picked it up, and opened Instagram. The first notification hit her like a slap. "Jessica tagged you in a post," she frowned. "Jessica, her tenant?" She opened it. The photo filled the screen, a picture of Jessica standing in front of the coffee shop downstairs, holding a cup, posing like she owned the place. The caption read, "Can't believe I get to live in this old building owned by the grumpiest landlord ever." But hey, at least she knows how to pick a location. Landlord from hell. Blessed with rent, Amanda froze. The post already had dozens of likes and laughing comments. Some even tagged others, joining the joke. The words burned into her chest. Landlord from hell. Grumpiest. At least she knows how to pick a location. Jessica had always been loud. Energetic. The kind of tenant who waved too much, talked too fast, and always posted everything online. Amanda didn't mind that. But this was different. Amanda scrolled through the comments. "OMG, I'd die to have your place." "Haha, your landlord sounds like my mom." "Girl, tell her to smile more." She put the phone down and sat still for a long minute. She wasn't angry, not yet. Just quiet. She stood, poured another cup of coffee, and stared out the window at the city below. People were walking, laughing, living their day, unaware that a single careless post had just cracked something open. Amanda wasn't just a landlord. She was the owner of that entire building, the coffee shop, the boutique, the office spaces, the apartments. A silent investor in 3 other properties nearby. She managed it all quietly, avoiding attention. She believed respect was earned through consistency, not personality. And Jessica had no idea who she was really mocking. 2 floors below, Jessica sat on her couch, scrolling through her own post, laughing as comments rolled in. She had moved into Amanda's building 6 months ago, chasing the city dream. She worked part-time as a stylist and part-time as an influencer, mostly small brand deals, free coffee vouchers, discount codes. Nothing huge, but enough to keep her going. Amanda had been quiet from the start. Strict about rent dates, strict about noise, strict about everything. Jessica often told her friends, "My landlord acts like she's guarding a castle. She probably hates fun." It was supposed to be a joke, just social media fun. But she never thought Amanda would actually see it. By noon, Amanda's decision was made. She opened her laptop, logged into her management system, and clicked on Apartment 4B, Jessica's unit. Her lease was due for renewal in 3 weeks. Amanda stared at the Renew Lease button for a moment, then clicked Do Not Renew. Then she closed the laptop. No drama. No confrontation. No long emails. Just silence and action. 3 days later, Jessica received an email. Subject: Notice of non-renewal of lease from AM Properties Management. Message: Dear Ms. Parker, this is to inform you that your lease at Apartment 4B will not be renewed upon expiration on the 30th of this month. Please arrange to vacate the unit by that date. For any clarification, contact the management office. No explanation. No warning. Jessica read it 3 times. Her stomach tightened. She dialed the management number, but the line redirected her to an automated system. Thank you for contacting AM Properties. Please leave a message. She left 3 messages that day. None were returned. By evening, panic started to build. Moving in the city wasn't easy. Rent was rising everywhere. She couldn't afford to move out that quickly. She ran to the building office the next morning. Amanda wasn't there. The clerk at the desk looked up politely. The decision came from ownership. Nothing we can do. Can I speak to whoever made that decision? Jessica asked. The clerk shook his head. They don't take direct inquiries. Sorry. Jessica left frustrated. That night, she posted again. Landlord drama alert. Guess my sense of humor isn't appreciated. Anyone got leads on a new place? Marne City struggles. It got more likes. More laughs. But beneath the jokes, she was scared. Meanwhile, Amanda went about her routine. Meetings, property visits, lunches with investors. No one would have guessed anything had happened. But one afternoon, she passed by the coffee shop downstairs and saw Jessica through the window, talking to a friend. She was laughing, but there was a forced edge to it. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Amanda paused for a moment, then walked on. Her assistant later asked, "You're really not going to tell her it was you?" Amanda sipped her coffee and said quietly, "She doesn't need to know who made the decision. She needs to learn why it happened." A week later, Jessica got desperate. She had visited 5 apartments. All too expensive. She posted less now. Her followers noticed. "Where are you moving?" one commented. She replied, "Working on it." Her confidence began to crack. For the first time, she realized how fragile her little online fame was. It couldn't pay rent. It couldn't help her pack boxes. It couldn't teach her humility. One night, as she sat surrounded by half-filled boxes, she whispered to herself, "Why me?" She scrolled back through her feed, reading her old captions. They all sounded the same now, loud, defensive, performative. Then she saw the post. The one that started it all. Her chest tightened. She deleted it, but it was too late. 2 days later, she got a call. The number was unlisted. "Hello? Ms. Parker, this is Amanda Lewis. I'm the owner of your building." Jessica froze. The voice was calm, measured, polite. Amanda continued, "I received your messages about your lease." "I believe you'd like to discuss it." Jessica's voice trembled. "Yes, please. I didn't mean anything by that post. I was just joking." "I didn't think," Amanda interrupted gently. "Words have weight, even when you think they don't." Jessica was silent. Amanda said, "Meet me in my office tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll talk." The line went dead. Jessica sat on the couch, her heart pounding. For the first time, she felt what real accountability looked like, and for Amanda, it wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about understanding, because sometimes silence teaches less than a conversation. Jessica barely slept that night. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Amanda's face in her mind, though she had never really looked at her closely. In her memory, Amanda was always just the strict landlord, a woman who wore neutral clothes, never smiled much and spoke in short sentences. Now, Jessica wondered what kind of person owned not just the building, but the silence that came with power. At 9:55 a.m., Jessica stood outside Amanda's office door on the 6th floor. The hallway smelled of fresh paint and polished wood. A small nameplate on the door read, "AM Properties, Amanda Lewis, Director." Her palms were sweaty. She smoothed her jacket, took a deep breath, and knocked, "Come in." Amanda's voice was calm, steady, and quiet. The kind of voice that didn't need to raise itself to be heard. Jessica stepped in. The office wasn't large, but it was immaculate. A long glass desk, neatly stacked papers, 2 leather chairs, and a single plant in the corner. Sunlight streamed through the window, cutting a soft line across Amanda's face. Amanda looked up from her laptop. Her hair was tied back, her expression unreadable. "Sit." Jessica obeyed, trying to hide her shaking hands. For a long moment, Amanda didn't speak. She closed her laptop slowly, set her pen down, and folded her hands. "I assume you know why you're here?" Jessica swallowed. "Yes, ma'am. It's about the post." Amanda nodded once. "The post? The one where you called me the landlord from hell and encouraged your followers to laugh at me?" Jessica winced at the words. Hearing them spoken out loud made it worse. "I didn't mean it like that," she said quickly. "It was just a joke. Everyone jokes online. It's how people connect. I wasn't trying to insult you." Amanda's gaze didn't move. "Do you think jokes stop being jokes when they reach a certain audience?" Jessica frowned. "What do you mean?" Amanda leaned back in her chair. "You have nearly 10,000 followers, correct?" Jessica nodded slowly. "So when you post something, people see it, believe it, and spread it. You didn't just write a caption. You shaped an opinion. About me, about this building, about how people like me treat tenants." Jessica's throat tightened. I didn't realize it would matter that much. Amanda's tone stayed even. It matters because it creates narratives. You wanted attention, and you got it. But you got it at someone else's expense. Jessica's voice cracked. I didn't think... That's the problem, Amanda interrupted. You didn't think? Silence filled the room. Jessica's eyes watered. I'm sorry. I really am. I was just trying to be funny. I didn't mean to make you look bad. Amanda looked at her for a long moment, studying her face. There was fear there, but also confusion, the kind that comes from realizing your actions have real-world consequences. Amanda stood, walked to the window, and spoke quietly. When I was your age, I worked 3 jobs just to afford rent. No one handed me a platform. No one cared about my voice. I learned that reputation is built one act at a time and destroyed in a single careless moment. She turned back toward Jessica. You have the privilege of being seen, but you haven't learned what that means yet. Jessica wiped her tears, trying to steady her voice. Please don't kick me out. I'll delete the post. I'll even make another one. I'll apologize publicly, just... Please don't make me move. Amanda returned to her desk, her face still calm. I'm not changing the non-renewal, she said. Actions have outcomes. But I wanted to see if you understood why. Jessica's lips trembled. So that's it? You're just gonna ruin my life over one post? Amanda's voice sharpened slightly. Ruin your life? You're still living in the same apartment. You still have a job. You still have a following. What you're experiencing isn't ruin. It's consequence. Jessica looked down, ashamed. Amanda softened her tone. Jessica, I don't hate you. I'm not here to humiliate you. I could have ignored your post completely, but I wanted you to understand something before life teaches it the hard way. Jessica looked up, her eyes red. What's that? Amanda said, respect is the one currency that never loses value. When you spend it carelessly, you go bankrupt in ways money can't fix. Jessica blinked back tears. Amanda continued, her voice lower now. You wanted to look confident online, to show the world you could laugh at authority, but you forgot that real confidence doesn't come from making others small. It comes from staying humble when no one's watching. For the first time since she entered, Jessica felt the weight of her actions settle on her chest. The joke wasn't funny anymore. It was a mirror showing her who she had become. Amanda sat down again. You'll move out by the 30th. You'll get your deposit back in full, assuming no damage. After that, what you do is up to you. But if you're wise, you'll remember this moment the next time you reach for your phone. Jessica nodded slowly. I will. Amanda opened her laptop, signaling the meeting was over. But before Jessica stood up, Amanda spoke again. One more thing. Jessica froze. I don't want your apology online. I don't want you to post about this or about me. What I want is for you to learn privately what the internet can't teach you publicly. Dignity. Jessica nodded again, quietly. Understood. As she stood to leave, Amanda added, And Jessica? Jessica turned. Your voice has power. Use it to build something, not burn something. Jessica swallowed hard. I will. I promise. She walked out of the office, feeling smaller but clearer. The elevator ride down felt long. Each floor she passed reminded her of something she had taken for granted. Her comfort, her space, her image. When she stepped outside, the city noise hit her like a wave. But this time, she didn't reach for her phone. She just kept walking. That night, she sat by the window in her apartment, staring at the city lights. Her phone lay face down on the table. For the first time in years, she didn't post. She thought about Amanda's words. About respect. About how she had treated people in her rush to be seen. She opened her drafts, deleted every half-written caption filled with sarcasm or fake inspiration. Then she wrote something new. She didn't post it, just saved it. Maybe growing up isn't about achieving more. Maybe it's about understanding what your actions mean. She read it again, quietly, then closed her phone. Outside, the city kept moving. But inside that small apartment, something finally slowed down. 3 days later, Jessica stood in the middle of her half-empty apartment, boxes stacked against the wall. The silence felt heavier now. For months, this place had been her comfort zone, the backdrop of her selfies, her reels, her perfect morning videos. But stripped of decor and filters, it looked smaller, ordinary, almost lifeless. She sighed, sitting down on a cardboard box. Her phone buzzed with another message from a friend. "So, where are you moving next? Found a place?" She stared at the text for a long second, then locked the screen. She didn't know what to say anymore. The truth was simple. No one wanted to rent to someone with her record. Word traveled fast in real estate circles, and even faster in digital ones. A few agents had recognized her name from her social posts. One even laughed on the phone. "Oh, you're the landlord from Hell, girl?" he'd said. "Yeah, I think our units are full." Humiliation was no longer abstract. It had a face, hers. Jessica closed her eyes, trying to steady her breathing. She hadn't cried since that meeting with Amanda, but now the tears came quietly. Not the loud, angry kind. The quiet ones that came when you finally saw what your pride had cost you. The next morning, she woke up early and went downstairs to the coffee shop, the same one from her infamous photo. She ordered black coffee and sat near the window. Amanda was there. She was sitting alone at the corner table, laptop open, reading something intently. She hadn't noticed Jessica yet. Jessica froze for a moment, debating whether to leave. But then she took a deep breath and walked over. "Morning," she said softly. Amanda looked up, surprised but composed. "Morning," Jessica hesitated. "Can I sit?" Amanda gestured toward the chair. "Of course." Jessica sat down carefully, her hands wrapped around the coffee cup. Amanda closed her laptop and waited. She didn't offer small talk. She didn't need to. Jessica finally spoke. "I wanted to thank you." Amanda raised an eyebrow. "For what?" "For being honest." "For not yelling." "For making me see what I needed to see." Amanda nodded slowly. "That's good to hear." Jessica looked down. "I've been thinking a lot about what you said. About respect. About using my voice right." Amanda leaned slightly forward. "And?" Jessica sighed. "And I think you were right. I wanted to be seen so badly that I stopped thinking about what I was showing. I thought attention meant value. But it doesn't." Amanda studied her face. "So what will you do differently?" Jessica paused, choosing her words carefully. "I want to start using my platform to show real things. Things that matter. Not just fake smiles and coffee cups. Maybe I'll talk about lessons instead of likes." Amanda's expression softened, just a little. "It's a start." They sat in silence for a few seconds. Then Jessica said quietly, "I know you said I still have to move out. I understand. I'm not asking you to change that. But I want to leave on the right terms." Amanda nodded. "That's wise." Jessica hesitated again, then reached into her bag and pulled out a white envelope. She slid it across the table. Amanda looked at it but didn't touch it. "What's this?" "Something I wrote," Jessica said. "Not a post. A letter." Amanda raised her eyes. "To me?" "To you and maybe to myself." Amanda opened the envelope. Inside was a handwritten page. The first line read, "When you taught me the cost of careless words, you gave me something more valuable than any apology could buy. Accountability." Amanda read quietly, her eyes scanning line by line. The words were honest, unpolished, human. Jessica hadn't written to impress. She had written to confess. When Amanda finished, she folded the letter neatly and placed it back in the envelope. She said softly, "Most people your age would have just moved out and posted another joke. You came here. That matters." Jessica's eyes glistened. "I didn't want to be another person who hides behind a screen." Amanda nodded. "Then you're already growing." Jessica smiled weakly. "That means a lot." Amanda took a sip of her coffee, then asked, "Do you have a new place yet?" Jessica hesitated. "Not yet. I've been looking, but no luck so far." Amanda nodded slowly, thinking. "I see." There was a pause. Then Amanda said, "Finish your coffee. Meet me upstairs in 20 minutes. Jessica blinked. "Upstairs? Why?" Amanda didn't answer. 20 minutes. Then she stood, gathered her things, and walked out of the cafe. 20 minutes later, Jessica walked into the building's management office. Amanda was there, standing beside the front desk with a folder in hand. She looked up when Jessica entered. "You said you wanted to leave on good terms. I'm giving you a chance to prove it." Jessica frowned. "What do you mean?" Amanda handed her the folder. "There's a vacant assistant position in this office. It's part-time, but it comes with staff housing. A smaller unit, not as fancy as your current one, but comfortable. You'd be handling social communications for the building, tenant notices, online updates, digital content." Jessica's eyes widened. "You're offering me a job?" Amanda shook her head. "I'm offering you responsibility. You'll be trusted with the same tool that got you in trouble. Words. Use them better this time." Jessica's breath caught. "Why me?" Amanda looked directly at her. "Because you're not the same girl who made that post. You've earned a chance to prove that." Jessica's eyes filled again, but she smiled. "I won't let you down." Amanda nodded once. "We'll see." That afternoon, Jessica signed the papers. Her new contract, her staff housing agreement, her code of conduct. Amanda explained everything in her usual calm tone. There were no shortcuts, no favors, just clear expectations. As Jessica walked to her new apartment, smaller, simpler, and quieter, she felt something she hadn't felt in months. Gratitude, not for the job. Not even for the second chance, but for the lesson. That night, she sat at her new desk and opened her laptop. She drafted a new Instagram caption. This time, she didn't hide behind humor. She didn't tag or mock or exaggerate. She wrote, "Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Sometimes it starts when the world stops laughing with you, and you finally listen to yourself." She looked at the post for a long moment, then clicked share. Within minutes, comments started to appear. Real talk. Different vibe. Finally, something meaningful. She smiled. Not because of the engagement, but because she meant every word. And somewhere upstairs, Amanda saw the post too. She didn't like it. She didn't comment. She just nodded quietly, proud of what growth looked like when it finally found its voice. 3 months later, the office felt different. The walls that once echoed with footsteps now carried a steady rhythm of quiet productivity. Jessica sat at her small desk by the window, typing tenant updates, reviewing messages, and managing the new digital notice board Amanda had launched. Her mornings began early, without alarm clocks or scrolling. Coffee, a short walk, and silence before work. It was the kind of peace she never noticed before, the kind that didn't need to be captured or shared. The job wasn't glamorous. It wasn't creative, but it was grounding. Every email she sent, every message she worded carefully, reminded her how much precision mattered, how much words could either calm a person or cause conflict. And she was learning. Amanda had kept her word. She didn't treat Jessica like a charity case. She expected results, punctuality, professionalism, no mistakes. But she also gave guidance, subtle, direct, and honest. One afternoon, Amanda called her into the office. "Sit," she said, closing her laptop. Jessica sat across from her, notebook ready. Amanda spoke evenly. "The feedback from tenants has been good. You've handled the online communication well. No unnecessary drama, no missed deadlines." Jessica smiled slightly. "Thank you," Amanda nodded. "You're doing fine. But I don't praise often, so take that as progress." Jessica laughed softly. "Noted." Amanda leaned back in her chair. "Do you like the job?" Jessica paused, thinking. "Yes, it's different from what I imagined I'd be doing, but it feels real. I'm learning how to think before I speak. How to write with intent." Amanda watched her carefully. "You're learning responsibility." Jessica nodded. "That too." Amanda folded her hands. "Good, because I have something else in mind." Jessica tilted her head. "Something else?" Amanda slid a thin file across the desk. "We're launching a community initiative, workshops for tenants on financial literacy, digital safety, and communication. I want you to manage it." Jessica blinked. "Me?" Amanda's tone stayed firm. You've lived through both sides of bad communication. You know how quickly something small online can spiral. Use that experience to teach others. Jessica hesitated. I'm not sure anyone would listen to me. Amanda raised an eyebrow. People listen to stories, especially the honest ones. Jessica's chest tightened a little. She knew what Amanda was suggesting, to tell her story. To expose the mistake she had once buried. Amanda continued. You don't have to mention names. Just tell them what you learned. The rest will speak for itself. Jessica nodded slowly. All right, I'll do it. Amanda gave a small, approving nod. Good. You start next week. The following Friday, Jessica stood in the building's small community hall. About 20 people had gathered. Tenants, young professionals, a few college students. A banner behind her read, Digital Responsibility Workshop, Building Real Communities in a Digital Age. Her hands shook slightly as she adjusted the microphone. She glanced at Amanda sitting in the back row, quiet as always, watching. Jessica took a deep breath. Hi, everyone. My name's Jessica. Some of you might know me from around the building. A few months ago, I made a mistake. A public one. The room went still. She continued. I wrote something online about someone without thinking how it would make them feel. I thought it was harmless. I thought it was funny. It wasn't. It was careless. And it cost me more than I expected. She looked around, meeting eyes. It's easy to say anything online and move on. But the internet doesn't forget. And sometimes the person on the other end does remember. Quietly, deeply. A few people nodded. Jessica smiled faintly. I learned something the hard way. Attention is temporary. Integrity is not. If you want people to listen to you, give them something honest to listen to. The crowd was silent for a moment. Then a few clapped softly. Soon the entire room joined in. Amanda didn't clap. She just smiled. The kind of smile that said, you did it right. Over the next few weeks, the workshop grew. More tenants joined. Then schools started inviting Jessica to speak. One small post about the session went viral, but this time for the right reason. Former influencer teaches real lessons about online responsibility. From mistake to mentor, Jessica Parker's story is changing how young people see digital. Respect. Jessica never mentioned Amanda's name in interviews. She didn't need to. The story was about her growth, not anyone's revenge. Still, every time she spoke about respect, she thought of Amanda's words. Respect is the one currency that never loses value. One evening, after another successful session, Jessica stopped by Amanda's office. It was late, the building quiet. Amanda looked up as she walked in. Still working? Jessica nodded, smiling. Just wrapping up? I wanted to say thank you. Amanda tilted her head. For what this time? For trusting me. For giving me a second chance. I wouldn't be here without that. Amanda stood, walking to the window. The city lights glowed below. You gave yourself the chance. I just didn't close the door when you knocked, Jessica smiled. Still, you didn't have to. Amanda turned toward her. You're right. I didn't, but leadership isn't about punishing mistakes. It's about guiding the ones who want to learn. Jessica nodded quietly. You did that. Amanda gave a small smile. Good, then make sure you do the same someday. They stood there for a moment, both looking out at the skyline. The air was calm, filled with unspoken respect, the kind that comes when two people finally understand each other. Weeks turned into months. The building thrived. The workshops became part of Amanda's community program. Jessica earned a full-time position as communication coordinator. Her life wasn't loud anymore, but it was full. One morning, she sat at her desk and saw an old photo pop up in her phone's memory, the one from that day outside the cafe. When she'd called Amanda the landlord from hell, she stared at it for a long time. Then she deleted it. No hesitation. That same day, she posted something new. Growth isn't about rewriting the past. It's about learning from it so you never repeat it. It wasn't viral. It didn't trend. But Amanda saw it. And for the first time, she tapped the small heart icon below the post. No words. No comments. just quiet acknowledgement. That evening, Amanda visited Jessica's office before leaving for the day. "You're doing well," she said simply. Jessica smiled. "I learned from the best," Amanda shook her head. "You learned from your mistakes. I just made sure you didn't stop there." They shared a small, mutual smile. Amanda picked up her coat, then paused by the door. "You know, Jessica, that post you wrote? The one that started all this?" Jessica laughed softly. "Hard to forget." Amanda smiled faintly. "I never saw it as an insult. I saw it as a mirror. Sometimes people show you what they see in you, not what you really are. But it's still a lesson worth keeping." Jessica nodded. "I'll remember that." Amanda opened the door, then said one last thing before leaving. "Just make sure when people look at you now, they see something worth learning from." Jessica stood alone in the office for a moment, letting the words sink in. Then she smiled. Not for the camera, not for the world, just for herself. Because finally, she had learned the real difference between being noticed and being respected. And respect, she knew now, was the only thing that didn't need an audience.